Developed by Art & Heart and published by Raw Fury, GoNNER is a 2D procedurally generated action platformer with roguelike elements. The game's art style is usually the first thing people notice. Done with a very lo-fi looking aesthetic, squiggly lines, and roughly sketched out, it just looks absolutely stunning. Furthermore, the game itself feels very dark and mysterious. Everything is absolutely cryptic, and GoNNER does its best to withhold as much information from the player as possible. Of course, everything makes sense once you understand how the game works, but that journey from being completely overwhelmed by its odd-looking design and mechanics to finally grasping it, improving and blasting your way through its levels is just sheer bliss. Be warned, however, GoNNER is hard, brutally hard, but that's exactly what makes it fun. The story revolves around a small sentient drop of water named Ik, who falls from the sky and hits the ground. Growing a pair of legs, you run, you jump, and you've got some flying whale in the sky there? What do you want? Stop following me! Nothing is explained. No text on screen, no dialogue, no hints. Just a brief little tutorial explaining the game's button layout. This is pure old school, a game that harkens back to the golden age of video games where you just needed to explore, play for hours on end to understand its fundamental mechanics, and then maybe go ahead and talk to a few friends about what you just discovered. Oh, right, the story. On its Steam page, it states, "We followed the largely misunderstood and altruistic Ik on a journey to cheer up his only friend in the world, a giant land-bound whale named Sally, by searching for just the right trinket in the deep and dark places nearby." As you progress through the game's brief tutorial, you find a head hanging in a tree. Collecting it gives you a life bar. Your life bar is determined by a row of hearts. The more hearts you have, the more times you can get hit. Collecting different heads hidden throughout the game will give you new abilities and maybe even more or less of a life bar. You can double jump and scale or slowly slide down vertical walls, and when you finally do collect a weapon, you can shoot left or right. You start off with a regular pellet gun, the rifle, but more can be found hidden in the levels. Your ammo count is displayed in the lower left portion of the screen. Next to that is your backpack icon. There are a variety of different backpacks, and they each do different things. One will allow you to rapid fire for a short period of time. Another will stop time and freeze all enemies in place. Once you've found a head, weapon, or backpack, it remains in your inventory. It's only once you die that you can go visit Death, who's keeping track of everything you've found. He's pretty awesome. Once you've picked your loadout, it's time to shoot things. Just jump in the World Snake's mouth and he'll swallow you and carry you to the next stage. GoNNER's gameplay is simple. Shoot anything and everything as quickly as possible while trying to remain alive. Those weird looking skulls on the top right of the screen? That's your combo meter. Every time you kill an enemy, a skull gets crossed off. Kill 5 enemies and the 5th one will drop a purple glyph. Fail to kill an enemy every 3 seconds and you'll lose your combo and have to start it again. Glyphs are very important. They act as currency. If you die, you can bargain with Death. What a cool guy. The price to continue is determined by the number of glyphs Death wants. Run out of glyphs, and it's game over, where you'll need to start at the very beginning of the game. Glyphs can also be exchanged with the shopkeeper, who will determine how many he wants for each item. That number in the middle of the screen is your score. The number of glyphs you have count as multipliers when you kill enemies. Again, a tip of the hat to the arcade score chasers of yesteryear. Experimenting with different guns, heads, and backpacks, you'll soon develop a sense of confidence, and what seems so difficult will actually become easier the next time through. Until you run into a new enemy, or world map, where you'll once again question yourself and your skills. This is the true beauty of GoNNER. And since nothing is explained, exploration is strongly encouraged, and discovery is constantly fulfilling. But remain vigilant. The risk versus reward factor is very high here, and it will be a constant battle of your patience and skill to walk that fine line between victory or death. GoNNER's visual style was conceived by Mattias, Ditto, Dittrich. It's original, simple, and very attractive. GoNNER's entire production, from concept to delivery, took 12 months. The team worked very quickly. If something took too long, it was usually left behind.
I draw these animations in absolutely max half an hour. So if I couldn't draw a thing in less than half an hour, I would scrap that idea and try to draw something else.
This allowed the team to work spontaneously, something Ditto enjoyed.
To be able to actually get stuff done without working on this thing for 10 years, I try to use the simplest style that I can. So I draw as sloppily as I can, but I still want to make that as interesting as I can. But there's definitely a story going on. We definitely have an arc for the characters, and they all have different reasons for being. But it's probably going to be, or it is going to be told more abstractly through expressions and through the way they act and stuff, and you're gonna have to try to piece together why did this happen here.
GoNNER sound effects were created by Kvale using an OP1 synthesizer. He worked quickly. If Ditto asked him for 5 sound effects a day, Martin would give him 100. He explains his process.
This is pretty much a process of me making sounds for this game. Is I'm sitting here and just kind of putting in random sounds from the synth, and then I play through them randomly and record where I play through, and I take out whatever I like in the end. We decided pretty early that realism is not really our strong suit. So we kind of decided that we could rather go for whatever felt good. So the context of the sound was more, does it feel pleasing? Do I want to hear another?
GoNNER's musical soundtrack was composed by Joar Renolen. In what may be one of the best original soundtracks in an indie game, Renolen really hits it out of the park. Each music track is distinct and complements the game's visual aesthetic. Working in tandem with the sound effects, the already eerie atmosphere gets even more tense with each passing level.
I just tried to make it a little weird, a little dark, a little cute.
We never had this is the master document of what this game is. Although it became a quite profound and deep game for us, that came out of frustrations and good things that happened along the way.
GoNNER is a real experience. It truly is. It doesn't hold your hand, it doesn't explain anything. It's meant to have the player embark on a visual and sonic journey where its story, its mechanics, and its challenges slowly reveal themselves to you. It's abstract in almost every single way, and in a generation where studios don't often have the courage to trust their audience, probably for the fear of alienating them, GoNNER simply doesn't care about any of that. The team chose to follow their instincts and impose constraints on themselves so they could rely instead on their own creativity. And that's very admirable. GoNNER is truly awesome. I want to thank you for watching. Please consider liking the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to watch more videos on abstract games in the future. A big shout out to Ditto, Martin, Joar, and the rest of their team. You guys made a ridiculously great game. I can't stop playing it. For real, I just keep dying and dying and dying, and I absolutely love it. Thank you again, everyone. See you next time.